Hi, we're on day 10 of our 40 days through the Gospel of John, quarter of the way, and we are in John chapter 4. Yesterday we was reading about how Jesus was talking with a woman at a well. The situation was the disciples had left Jesus to go and get some food for them, and he waits by this well and ends up having a conversation with this woman. He speaks to her about how he is the Messiah. He speaks to her about how he knows her life, and he speaks to her about how he is the way. And then the disciples return. And the disciples return with food. So you read in verse 21, it says, meanwhile, the disciples urge him, saying, Rabbi, eat something. They're like, we've got the food, now's the time. And Jesus says in verse 32, I have had food to eat that you know nothing of. They left and he was hungry. They come back. He's not hungry anymore. He's had food. And they wonder, did someone brought him the food? And the key bit I want to see in verse 34, where Jesus says this, my food is to do the will of him who sent me and to finish his work. You know, Jesus isn't implying that he doesn't need to eat ever at all. But what he's saying is, you know what, there is a deeper hunger within me. And that desire is fulfilled when I do the will of him who sent me to finish the work. He's saying, you know what, I'm so full up with the joy and the fulfillment of doing what the Father sent me here for. And we might listen to that and wonder, okay, well, Jesus came, completed his mission, good for him. But Jesus goes on to teach the disciples what the Father has sent them to do. And he describes harvesting. He talks to them about something they would know a lot about, being in a agrarian culture where you would sow crop and you would reap that crop like a farmer. And he says, you know these signs, and you know that one person can sow the seed and another one reaps it. And he says this in verse 38, I sent you to reap what you've not worked for. Others have done the hard work and you have reaped the benefits of their labor. You know what Jesus is saying in this is firstly, I have a fulfillment deep down when I fulfill what the Father has sent me to do. And then he's pointing them and saying, here's what he's sending you to do. He's sending you to go into the harvest fields and reap the harvest. That's sharing our faith. That is bringing others to a closer relationship with Jesus. And I want to tell you from what the Bible teaches us and from my own personal experience, when you have a moment where you can point someone to Jesus, you might just nudge them towards him. You might get to the final point where they go, tell me more, I want to receive him into my life. Wherever they are on that journey, when you meet someone in that conversation and you see them point themselves towards the Saviour of the world, the one that you know has made such a difference to your life, it is like the best meal ever. It's fulfilling. It satisfies a deep longing inside. And that deep longing inside is not just that we would be in relationship with Jesus, but that others would too. And so Jesus' encouragement to us is, who are you going to tell? The seeds have been sown. The harvest is ready to be reaped. Who are you going to tell? Who are you going to speak to about Jesus this day?